Hey guys, what is up? We're back once again with another weekly review of Katekyo Hitman REBORN. And guys, we are almost in the 3 digits. Within the next 10 weeks, of course. So starting from after the ending of chapter 89, the Varia is now on the move. Okay? They're on the move. They realize that the rings that Squall brought back were fake. Poor Squall was eating desk for that short period of time, and Zanzas, the head of the Varia uh, group, assassination group. Sorry. Yeah, he got his 6 guardians. So just like Suna's the sky, Zanza's the sky. He does have for Zanza's, he does have his rain, his storm, his lightning, his mist, and his sun. Okay, on top of any other Varia members that are part of the group, they're all coming to Japan from Italy. So now that they're on their move, we continue on with the training arc. Okay, now obviously Suna, he's in his second stage of training with Reborn and now with Basil. So the first stage was obviously building physical strength through climbing on the cliff side of the mountain. Okay, not only that, it's to help, again, it's building physical strength. It's building so that if he does get hit, it doesn't hurt as badly. On top of that, is so that he doesn't pass out if he does go into, well, not if, when he goes into hyper dying will mode. But in order to sustain that side of his power, he has to constantly fight in dying will mode. Now, I don't know if any of you are on Twitter, but more than likely you guys are. You probably saw some discourse a little bit. Why anybody bothering the KHR fandom for whatever reason, and just trying to talk bad about a series that people just enjoy. But someone saying, Suna sucks. The only time he's cool is when he's in dying will form. Again, I make the connection to Goku and Gohan during the Cell arc, the Android arc in DBZ. When they were training in the hyperbolic time chamber, they had to consistently stay in Super Saiyan form in order to master it and not tire themselves out. But it doesn't take away from who they are. It's the same thing with Suna. And as they explain in this chapter, that as Suna's training and battling against Basil, who's in dying will form himself, or hyper dying will form. Basil is in hyper dying will and Suna's in dying will form. Your dying will is connected to your will or your instincts, okay? It's basically your power up. So when Suna goes into this form, it's just for the sake of him being able to battle stronger opponents who will oppose him or come attack him. It's like every shonen that many characters have their own power-ups, but it never takes away from their character. It never takes away from their personality. This is just showing what Suna is feeling on the inside and is showing externally, okay? That's the whole point of dying will mode, okay? Anytime Suna gets shot from dying will, he is reborn first, and he's like, I will accomplish this task as if I am dying. Meaning this is who Suna is on the inside. He's just showing it externally. Whereas dying will form allows him to be in a very more calm state. But whatever he's still wishing to accomplish, he just does it in a more relaxed mode. And now he has the physical prowess to execute what he wants to do. But everything you know about Suna, even in dying will form, is just his power up. It doesn't take away from who he is, from his morals, what he thinks about certain situations or people. It does not take away from that. It's just giving him that amp up that he needs to fight people like Zanzas or Byakuran or anybody else in the future. That's just it. Or Mukuro. It just gives him that boost up in power, okay? So while that's happening, he's fighting Basil, and while he's fighting Basil, he's staying longer in the dying will form, and it's shown that, like, when he gets attacked, right, from the offensive side, he's now instinctively going on the defensive to kind of lessen the damage and then retaliating. So that's even better on Suna's side, because his training is actually shown to be quite fruitful, and there are results. Okay, so he's saying he's lasting longer than the original 5 minutes. They never say how long Suna is, but it's obviously he's lasting a lot longer in that mode, and he's taking damage, but not as much as he would have if, you know, he didn't go through all of this training. So now they go into, ooh, my bad. They go into Yamamoto, right? Because they didn't show Ryohei and they didn't show Hibari, but basically you can say their training is kind of complete, because with Ryohei, again, it's more of him learning to relax and listen to his body that he overexhausts on a daily basis. He abuses on a daily basis, and Hibari is like, my boy is just fighting to fight, okay? So they do focus on Suna, Gokudera, and Yamamoto. So going back to Yamamoto, remember he is learning the Shigure Soin style, and as his father is telling him, because he showed him forms 1 to 7 or styles 1 to 7, and as he explained, he says from the master to the disciple, we only show the forms once. That is the rule in the Shigure Soin style. Since the Shigure Soin style is such a dangerous form of the sword, when there isn't someone with sufficient skill and willpower around, the form is fated to disappear from the world, okay? So he's basically saying that this form can be literally learned by anybody. And I best compare it to, think of all the folklores, myths, any of those stories of long ago that we've heard that are not written down, but passed orally from one person to the next, and how basically the basis of that story stays the same, but somehow, in some way, because it's passed orally, there's something changing in it, okay? And that's how I best compared the Shigure Soin style to, say, stories of the past, where, say, like, okay, Red Riding Hood and the wolf. Everybody knows she's trying to take care of her grandmother and she goes into the forest. But suppose I decide to pass the story to someone else and they decide, oh, instead of getting apples, she decides to get dandelions instead. The base is still there. She's still taking care of her grandmother. She's going into the woods. But what she's picking versus apples, she's picking now flowers. Does she still go against the wolf? Yes, she does. But what comes after is going to be different between each of the different users. So while Yamamoto learns the first 7 forms, which is the most crucial part of learning the Shigure Soin style, of course he's only going to be taught this once, and we've seen where he executes the forms. He executes form 6, 7, 4, okay, and he executes them with style and precision. But mind you, Yamamoto is still a beginner in all of this, but if he keeps with this form, and he's, as his father said, if he is serious enough, if he has the spirit to do so, the forms after form 7 is going to change, and it depends on each various user, okay? But this only is capable, and it can only be as strong as the person who is using this style is disciplined enough to stick with it and to keep learning and to keep progressing. So obviously we know that Suna's dad is surveillancing all of this training that's going on. So afterwards we have with Gokudera and Dr. Shamal. Gokudera's training is kind of it's worrisome, because Dr. Shamal is just laying there, and like it looks like Gokudera is not getting anywhere, because he's throwing his dynamite, he's throwing his bombs at the flying airplanes, which is basically a callback to when he first met Dr. Shamal, and he's asking him like, how do you hit my dynamite towards the paper airplanes when he was very young. And obviously, current time, Gokudera is not hitting his target. When you think it is, it's not. And Dr. Shamal gave him a hint. Of course, this flies over Gokudera's head because Gokudera is very meticulous and he's more academic smart than girl smart. So the hint that Dr. Shamal is giving Gokudera is, think of it like you trying to flirt with a girl. Obviously, Dr. Shamal is girl, women crazy, and probably not in the best way possible. But he's like, so think of it like you flirting with a girl. You want to get her attention. The girl is the paper plane. She's flying. She's going about the wind. And you're the dynamite. You want to land your mark. You want to get that hook. Blow her away. How are you going to do it? Okay? Like I said, it goes over Gokudera's head because Gokudera doesn't talk to these girls. If you saw in previous chapters, he's like, ew. Yo, you guys are mad annoying. Okay? So, of course, Gokudera's training is up in the air at this point, but hopefully he's able to land the mark because now the Varia is in Japan. They have come, okay? And so we see two members from the Varia. We have Leviton, or Levi for short, and we have Mamon, who's also an Arcambeleno, just like Reborn and Colonello. Okay, so we do have where Levi asks Mamon to use his sticky picture prediction, which Mamon will get a piece of paper or tissue and then sneeze into it. Not the best thing, of course, but it helps him to locate who he needs. So when Levi asks him to locate the holder of the lightning ring, and as we all know, the person who's holding the lightning ring is Lambo. With Mamon's sticky picture prediction, it tells him the exact location from 800 and so kilometers west and wherever else. They're now on the prowl to go attack the first person. And the first person that they're going towards is Lambo. Mind you, if you guys forgot, Lambo is 5 years old. Lambo is from the Bovino Familia. And they're best known for the 10-year bazooka cannon. Okay, where you shoot someone and they are replaced with their 10-year future self for like 5 minutes. Okay, and Lambo is an assassin from that family, but you can say he's probably no longer from that family. He's now permanently with the Vongola. Okay, and his first attempt was to try to assassinate Reborn, but of course it always failed multiple times. But what makes it worse at the end of the day is that Lambo is physically and mentally a 5-year-old child. So you know he's not going to care about any of this stuff that's happening. And I know a lot of people will probably question Akira Amano and her decisions on making a child part of this group. Because it's understandable with Suna, Gokudera, Yamamoto, Hibari, Ryohei, and one of the other members who I'm not going to announce until it comes their time. But if you read the series, you watched the series, you know who is the holder of the mist ring. You made a 5-year-old, where everybody else is a teenager, hold something of such significant value, which is ridiculous. I think that's the most ridiculous out of all, but she made that decision and she stuck with it for many years, okay? But yeah, they're in Japan, and Levi is going after his target, and that is 5-year-old Lambo. Because if you see the beginning of the chapter, they do have a picture of Lambo, and he basically, that was just to foreshadow that he is now the target. So next chapter, we're going to see where that all comes down, where Leviton is now facing his target, aka Lambo, and how that whole ordeal is going to go down. Is Lambo going to be okay next chapter? Is he gonna die early on, or is he gonna be rescued in time before they can do any damage and declare civil war, basically, within the Vongola fraction? Okay, so guys, do tell me in the comment section below on how you feel about chapter 90 of Katekyo Hitman Reborn. How do you feel about the trainings that's going on? How do you feel about Suna's growth so far, Yamamoto's growth? Okay, and obviously for Gokudera, who still kind of has a long way to go. How do you think Ryohei's training has ended? And obviously we know with Hibari, It's Hibari. Do we really have to worry about him? But yeah, just do tell me your comments down below. Of course, if you read the series before, you watched the series before, if you're new to it, tell me your thoughts, guys. Tell me your thoughts. And if you saw the anime, how do you feel about like the adaptation versus the source material? I will always love to hear your comparisons about that. The links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Shadow of Anime Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye! With